Here we are for the intervention 19, and you've seen a lot of these problems. And again, you did this one, you've solved it now, you're correcting it. Take time, go back and watch a few of the other 19s because they will really prepare you for the intervention test. And then remember, when you do really well in the intervention test, you get that 4, then go ahead and come back to me and say, hey, Mr. Willmarth, got this whole expressions equivalency thing down now. Let me take that ultimate test. Get me to a 500%. Okay, so in these problems, you'll notice that the numbers that we're given in the problem are done in percentages. The numbers we're given in the answers are done as either decimals or fractions. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to change all of our percentages to decimals and fractions. So 12.5%, remember to go to a decimal, it moves back 2 places, the reverse of the double butt cheeks, and we get 0.125. If we change that to a fraction, and that's one of the fractions that you'll want to memorize at some point in your career, the earlier the better, it works out to be 125 over 1,000, which simplifies down to 1/8. That is definitely one worth memorizing. Our second fraction decimal that we're going to get is from this 60%. So we're going to take the 60%. We know that as a decimal, it is 0.6. Again, it would move back 2 places. And then as a fraction, it is 6/10, and 6/10 can be simplified to 3/5, though in this case, 6/10, you're going to want to look through the fractions they give you. Oh, look, they give you a 3/5 and they give you a 6/10. So you're going to want to keep track of both of those. Now we're ready to do the problem. If I were doing this problem, I would use a highlighter to make sure that I know the 580 goes with this percentage and the 620 goes with the 60%. So we need a 580 matched up with a 0.125. Yes, we have that right here. We need a 0.6 matched up with a 620. Yep, that works. A is an answer. 1/8 matched up with 580. Yes, that works. 3/5 with 620. Yes, that works. There's an answer. 12.5. Nope, it's got to be 0.125, so it should be 0.125, which means that that's wrong. If any part of it's wrong, the whole thing is wrong. Both parts have to be right. So you have to check both to make sure they're right. As soon as you hit one that's wrong, you know it's wrong. And then the same thing right here. Can't be 1 over 12.5. That's not going to work. 6/10 times the 620. Yeah, that one does work. But 1 over 12.5, that does not work. It has to be 0.125. So now we know our correct answers are A and C. And the second question is, what's the total amount of lawn in square meters that will be fertilized? I would pick, so the method now is solve one of these two that was correct. I would pick this one. I would pick A, because with A, I can use my calculator. Remember, when you take the test, you get to use a calculator. So I have 0.125 times 580, 0.125 times 580, that's going to be 72.5 square meters, plus 620 times 0.6. It doesn't matter which order we put those in, so don't get hung up on the fact that I put the decimal on top on the first one and on the bottom on the second one. So 620 times 0.6, that equals 372 meters squared. And I have my 372 in the calculator already. I will add the 72.5, and I get 444.5 meters squared. That is the amount of lawn that will be fertilized. Okay, let's go down to the second of these problems. Get rid of the calculator for a minute while we do our work here. So again, Katie's model has a surface of 240 square centimeters, and she wants to paint 60% blue. Well, that's nice. We saw 60% in the last problem also. So we know as a decimal, it's 0.6. As a fraction, it is 6/10, because that's how we read this, 0 and 6/10, which simplifies to 3/5. The other percent that we need to convert is 75%. As a decimal, 0.75. As a fraction, 3/4. So let's look through the answer choices now. 60 times, nope, can't be 60 times, has to be 0.6 times. A can't be true. 3/5 times 240. You remember what I said about using a highlighter. If this helps when you come to take the test, just ask me and I will loan you a highlighter. 240 is going to be 60% blue. 200 is going to be 75% blue. So our 3/5 times 240, yes. This is a difference problem also. Okay? And you can see all these are subtractions, so you don't have to worry that they're sneaking in an addition on you. So 3/5 times 240, that's a yes. 3/4 right there, 3/4 times 200, that's a yes. C is a possible answer. Again, 3/4 times 240, nope, can't be the 3/4, has to be the 3/5 times 240, so B is wrong. And 0.6 times 240, that's a yes. And 0.75 times 200, that's a yes. So C and D are our correct answers. I would choose, since I'm going to use a calculator to solve this, I would choose D as the one to bring down. So I'm going to have 240 times 0.6 plus 200 times 0.75. Let's go ahead and get our calculator out and do that math. 240 times 0.6, that is 144. 200 times 0.75, that is 150. And together, those equal 294 square centimeters. So that's the way that we solve these problems. And you can be really successful with these as long as you slow down and you take your time. Okay, so solve those, correct your work. If you have questions, bring them to class, and then be ready to come and be really successful on that intervention test.